The Bold and the Beautiful. The rise and ruin of Thomas Forrester when genius turns dark in the ever-twisting world of the bold and the beautiful. There's always one truth. Nothing stays beautiful for long. Under the glitz of haute couture, behind every shimmering runway, and beneath the golden name of Forrester lies a shadow that resurfaces when ambition outpaces reason. This time, it's not an outsider or a rival designer threatening to destroy the Forrester family from within. It's Thomas Forrester himself. Again. But this isn't just a retread of past sins. This is something deeper, darker, and far more dangerous. Over the past few months, Thomas has enjoyed something rare: redemption. He's clawed his way back into the family's good graces. He's designed winning collections. He's earned Ridge's approval. He's even maintained a polite truce with Brooke. On paper, he's thriving. But those closest to him, those who've seen the fire behind the smile, are beginning to notice cracks. Again. It starts with something small: his insistence that every detail of the latest Forrester line passed through him. Not just sketches or final fittings. Everything. Fabric selection, lighting cues, background music for the promo campaign, casting, styling, model choreography. Nothing escapes his control. He tells the team it's about vision, about maintaining consistency. But his eyes tell another story, one of obsession, of fear, of a mind unraveling under the weight of self-imposed perfection. His creative assistant, Talia, tries to flag the issue to Carter. He's pushing the team too hard, she says. We haven't slept in 3 days, but Thomas intercepts the message before it reaches the boardroom. The next day, Talia is mysteriously reassigned to marketing. And Thomas. He tells Ridge it was her choice, that she felt overwhelmed and wanted a break. Ridge believes him. Then there's the return of the tracking board, an enormous whiteboard in Thomas's private studio filled with photos, mood clippings, quotes, and names. At first glance, it looks like inspiration, but closer inspection reveals something else. Lines connecting people, circled faces, notes about their loyalties, habits, vulnerabilities. The center of the board, a large photo of Brooke Logan, pinned like a target. Because in Thomas's mind, all roads lead back to Brooke. He doesn't say it outright. He doesn't have to. Every delay, every obstacle, every whisper of doubt about his leadership connects it to her. He becomes convinced she's manipulating things from behind the scenes, trying to undermine his success to protect her status. He tells Hope that her mother has always resented his talent, that Brooke wants to keep Ridge focused on her by making Thomas look unstable again. Hope pushes back. She defends Brooke, but Thomas doesn't hear her anymore. He smiles and nods, then privately begins reorganizing the team, removing anyone he believes is loyal to Brooke. The once collaborative design floor becomes a tense, silent zone of fear and second-guessing. Team members whisper about being watched. One model quits mid-shoot, claiming Thomas asked her to lose weight in ways that crossed ethical lines. Again, Ridge dismisses it. Thomas is intense, he says, but he delivers. And that's the problem. He does deliver. His new line, Fractured, is unlike anything Forrester has ever seen. Muddy, complex, emotionally raw. Critics call it genius. Buyers are intrigued. Media outlets are buzzing. But behind the praise is a growing unease. The clothes are beautiful but unsettling. The promotional film features models bound in silk, breaking mirrors, standing in shadows. One particular look, a gown with razor-sharp tailoring and crimson veils, bears an eerie resemblance to Brooke's silhouette during her wedding to Ridge. The resemblance is not accidental. Taylor sees it immediately. She confronts her son, asking if he's okay, if he's slipping, if the pressure is too much. Thomas hugs her, says he's fine, says she's the only one who truly believes in him. And then, without her knowledge, he edits her out of the promotional credits. Only his name remains as creative director. But the real fracture begins when Brooke herself visits the studio. She comes in peace. She wants to praise the line. She tells Thomas that she's proud of how far he's come. But he doesn't hear pride. He hears condescension. He tells her she doesn't get it, that this line isn't for people like her. He accuses her of always trying to control Ridge, of poisoning hope, of making sure the Forresters never fully accept him. She's stunned. She tries to de-escalate, but it's too late. Thomas's eyes are blazing now. He tells her, "I've been too kind for too long. You're not the queen of this family anymore." And then he does something unthinkable. He leaks an edited version of Brooke's old scandal video taken years ago, long buried, pairing it with his new campaign. A clip of her infamous lingerie mishap during a press conference, remixed as a meditation on exposure and legacy. The video goes viral. Some fashion critics call it meta art. Others call it character assassination. Brooke is humiliated. Ridge demands to know who approved it. Thomas says, "It's art." And it worked. Everyone's talking about us again. Ridge is furious. But the campaign is trending worldwide. Sales spike. Orders roll in. Investors are thrilled. Taylor begs Ridge to step in. Hope pleads with him to rein Thomas in before something worse happens. But Ridge, blinded by the numbers, says, "We can't argue with success." The final straw comes during the Forrester runway show in Paris. It's Thomas's night. The Fractured collection is debuting live. The venue is a deconstructed cathedral. The models walk slowly, the music pulsing like a heartbeat. And then, the finale, a model emerges in the Red Widow gown, a look unmistakably inspired by Brooke's most iconic ensemble. The audience gasps. The lights dim. A projection plays behind the model, a montage of Brooke's scandals, heartbreaks, and public collapses, edited into a looped performance piece. Brooke is in the front row, frozen. The applause is thunderous, but the silence between Ridge and Brooke is louder. After the show, backstage is chaos. Reporters demand quotes. Photographers swarm. Thomas basks in it. He tells the press that the show was a necessary reckoning. A reminder that beauty can be dangerous. That history, when ignored, repeats itself. That night, Ridge finally confronts his son. He demands to know why Thomas is obsessed with punishing Brooke. Why he's manipulating the team. Why he's sabotaging everything they built. Thomas snaps, "Because she never believed in me. Because she ruined you. Because I had to become a villain to finally be seen." And then Ridge says the words Thomas has feared since the beginning. "You're not well." Thomas punches a mirror. He doesn't say a word. Taylor gets the call from Ridge. She flies to Paris the next day. By then, Thomas has vanished. He's left behind a single sketchbook, pages torn and scribbled, full of chaotic designs and personal letters. One to Hope, one to Douglas, one to his mother. No one knows where he's gone. Some say he went to Milan. Others whisper he's hiding in a remote villa once owned by Eric. Carter issues a company-wide gag order. The Forrester board begins damage control. PR statements flood the press, calling the Fractured campaign performance fiction and denying any real-life malice. But the damage is done. Forrester's stock dips. The family is fractured literally. Brooke files a formal complaint. Hope stops taking Ridge's calls. Eric asks Steffi to return early from her sabbatical. Because the future of Forrester no longer depends on just talent. It depends on healing what Thomas broke. This isn't just a fall from grace. This is the cost of unchecked genius. The consequences of letting brilliance fester without balance. And as the bold and the beautiful enters its most psychologically charged arc yet, one thing becomes brutally clear. Every success has a price. And sometimes, that price is the family you swore you were trying to save. The bold and the beautiful. The fallout of Thomas Forrester redemption, ruin, and the edge of madness part to the wreckage Thomas left behind doesn't disappear. It echoes through every hallway of Forrester creations, settles in every silence between conversations, and lingers in every look exchanged between those who once believed in him. The Fractured collection may have lit up the fashion world, but the fire it started is consuming the Forrester family from the inside out. Brooke remains humiliated. Not just by the scandal footage Thomas weaponized, but by Ridge's silence during the show. She'd sat in the front row, unaware she was about to be used as a symbol publicly deconstructed, framed as the villain in a narrative she didn't write. Ridge's defense of the campaign, even for a moment, broke something in her. When he finally tried to explain, she cut him off. "If you can't tell the difference between art and attack," she said, "you're not the man I thought you were." She walks out of the show, of Ridge's life. Again, Hope, reeling from the betrayal, pulls Douglas out of school and takes him out of LA. She refuses to let her son be anywhere near the chaos Thomas has unleashed. She tells Ridge she won't return to the company unless a full psychological evaluation is ordered and Thomas is barred from all creative work. Ridge, caught between loyalty and damage control, tries to argue. Hope shuts him down. "You told me to trust him, that he changed. You were wrong." Taylor stays behind in Paris. She's the only one still searching for Thomas, but even she's losing faith. His notebook, full of unhinged notes and half-completed designs, haunts her. One page reads, "They only see me when I break." Another is just a sketch of Brooke, her eyes crossed out in red ink, over and over. Then, 3 weeks later, silence breaks. Thomas is spotted in Barcelona, working under a fake name at a fringe atelier, creating masks for an avant-garde performance troupe. A fashion blogger snaps a photo of him backstage, longer hair, darker expression, hollowed eyes. The photo goes viral. Ridge flies to Spain immediately, desperate to bring his son back. But when he finds him, Thomas is not the same man. He speaks slowly, deliberately. "I'm not coming back," he says. "I'm building something pure, without lies, without legacy." Ridge begs, "We can fix this." Thomas shakes his head. "You can't fix something you helped break." Back in Los Angeles, Eric calls an emergency board meeting. The future of the brand is unstable. Orders are being canceled. The press is still hungry for a statement from Thomas. Investors are uneasy. Carter presents a controversial idea: cut ties with Thomas permanently and appoint a new creative Letsamine untouched by scandal. Brooke supports it. So does Hope. Even Taylor, on the call from Spain, hesitates but agrees. Ridge is outvoted. The board moves forward. The new lead? Remy Price. His unspoken line with Julian Cruz was a breakout success, and his media-savvy, defiant authenticity is exactly what Forrester needs. But the moment Remy is handed the creative reins, a new war brews quietly. Zende believes he was overlooked. Sasha Marquette, who's still circling like a shark in the shadows, calls the appointment a political stunt, but Remy doesn't flinch. He calls his first collection Reckoning. The debut show is announced to coincide with Paris Fashion Week, right where Thomas self-destructed. It's a bold move. Risky. But that's the point. Remy walks into the storm Thomas left behind and dares to plant a new flag. The concept of Reckoning is deeply personal. It's a tribute to those who fought their way into the industry, those who were punished for being too much, too bold, too different. It's a love letter and a warning. But backstage, tension brews again. A member of the crew receives an anonymous message. "You think this is yours? You're just wearing what I built." Remy is rattled. Julian urges him to ignore it. But the messages continue. Notes left on sketches. Mannequins slashed open. Lights flickering without cause. Security is tightened. But paranoia spreads. And then, the night before the Reckoning runway, someone hacks the main projector system. A video begins to play on the massive LED screen during final rehearsal. Black and white footage of Thomas walking barefoot through the streets of Paris, speaking directly to the camera. "You can erase me from the boardroom, but not from the bloodline. Forrester isn't a brand. It's a wound. And you're all still bleeding." The screen cuts to black. Remy cancels the rehearsal. Carter locks down the venue. Ridge doesn't speak. The next night, the show begins. Every seat is filled. Press, celebrities, executives, protesters outside. The energy is nuclear. The first model steps out in silence. Then music crashes, interval drums, sirens, orchestral swells. The designs are revolutionary. Grit meets silk. Fluid lines meet jagged edges. It's unlike anything Forrester has ever produced. Then, the finale model walks. It's Julian in a reconstructed version of the Red Widow gown, this time reimagined in white, with fractured mirrors stitched into the fabric. As he reaches the edge of the runway, he turns, and the LED screen lights up again. This time, it shows nothing. Just the Forrester F logo, slowly morphing into a new symbol, two hands holding broken scissors. The show ends. The crowd erupts. Remy and Julian stand on stage, holding hands. Applause rolls through the venue like thunder. But Remy isn't smiling. He sees something in the crowd. A tall man in a hood, watching. Thomas, gone before security can reach him. And so begins the next phase of the Bold and the Beautiful's darkest saga yet. Because Thomas isn't gone. He's waiting, watching, rebuilding. And the world doesn't know it yet, but Forrester's greatest enemy isn't a rival brand or a bitter ex. It's the ghost of a genius who refuses to stay buried. And this time, he's not just here to take back his place. He's here to burn it all down.